Hello everyone, today doing a little renovation simply because I originally was planning on doing a aquarium, as I mentioned in my last video. But it's very difficult to do it. I feel like the layout is certainly a challenge. I do like the exterior of what I have so far, but yeah, I really needed a video to come up today. So I decided just to do this renovation just because this home in smnthuh. I really love the layout of it, so I figured, I really don't have to do much. And yeah, so I went ahead with this one. I went ahead and did more of like warmer tones, especially the outside, which you'll see later on. I darkened the wood for the exterior, switched out for I believe it's called, not shuttering, something with an S the current wallpaper has, but I switched it to paneling, and it is a darker, warmer red, brown kind of tone. And yeah, I just feel like maybe because where I am it is raining, so I feel like that's us kind of in that cozy headspace, I guess, when it came to decorating. But I went ahead and did that, and yeah, I feel like the bedrooms were probably the hardest thing for me. I don't know why I was struggling to do it. I should have. One thing I wish I would have done was keep in mind the Sims that currently live here. Like, kept in mind for their ages, like the teen room or the child's bedroom. I went ahead and made that obvious, but I felt that maybe I could have learned about their personalities more and see it. But you guys do download this a lot. It's pretty neutral when it comes to the look of it. It's not very like personality specific or anything like that. And I also built this using solely base game and then the growing together pack, which is what came with this world. Another restriction, I've been liking them so far. I feel like that's been fun, but like I said, the bedrooms were definitely, for some reason, that was a struggle. But yeah, I think the living room and the entryway, the color like palette, I think blends well or matches well. It's probably my favorite area of the home. I didn't really do much or anything at all really to the exterior. I was mainly focusing on the interior, and yeah, so I went ahead and did that. Also, I switched out the ceiling. Now that I'm seeing that, the ceiling colors, I did switch around quite a bit just because I felt like there wasn't a good shade. There's one I usually go to, but for the sake of like the colorful walls, it just wasn't as smooth. I'm kind of curious, what is your guys' go-to when doing ceiling? I won't say flooring, but ceiling, like what flooring I guess used for ceiling. Yeah, I think I've tried sometimes putting the carpet as kind of make it look like popcorn ceiling. I'm like iffy about that. Don't know if I like it or not, but that's definitely something to do. I usually just keep it like a neutral cement color. That's typically my go-to. I do that, and then sometimes I'll do wooden flooring, but that's more, I feel like, cabin kind of build or something like that. I didn't really do it for this build, but that's definitely another option I go to. But yeah, I hope you guys had, it's the middle of the week, had good enough, enjoyed the Super Bowl. I know I had fun. It was pretty fun watching it. Unfortunately, I wish I was able to go with family, but yeah, I just didn't get the time. But I watched it. I had a good time. One thing I want to say is, like, it really, I don't know if it's like, it was very nice to have something very, a sense of, just enjoying music, and I feel like that's what it should be about. But obviously, people have their own feelings, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really had fun. I love the story he told. But that's the thing, I'm also used to, I grew up like listening to other music in different languages. I do speak Spanish, not as fluent as I would like. I'm a first generation myself, so Mexican descent, but I don't know, I've always listened to languages and different music, never really bothered me in particular. Like I do listen to K-pop, Afro pop, African pop. Like there's so many languages that I myself listen to, so it's interesting that was a complaint in quotes. I don't know if that was a legitimate complaint or they're trying to find something to say without being outright, but yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I think it was fun. Watch, I enjoyed the music, especially the storytelling. It was very nice to see, and that community and that culture was also nice. One thing I did watch before, what was it? The Super Bowl was on Spider-Man, or Into the Spider-Verse, or Across the Spider-Verse. I watched that movie. That's the movie I like. I've been a fan of Spider-Man since I was a kid. So that's personally like my kind of thing. I do have that's kind of my interest. But I was watching it, and it's very, again, with Miles, for example, being Puerto Rican as well, the culture and just having culture and just like the connection we can have through culture, even though we're not, like, while we're from different backgrounds, there's things around us that connect us. And I think that was a very important thing to showcase, because I know a lot of people, that's the thing I don't really understand, is the fear of it. I've never, like, something different never really, or at least a person who's different never really made me afraid. So that's always something I know it comes from a place of hate instead of a place of understanding. But at the same time, it just feels very, I don't know, to live that way. It's just, I'm sure they probably have, they feel in their lives that they're definitely missing something. But yeah, I don't know, I just really had a good time. It was really fun. And yeah, I'm kind of, because I know some people, like, have that issue, and I just don't know. Like, at the end of the day, in this life, is like, what are we doing stuff for, if not for ourselves, Like, when people just do stuff just for others' approval, it's very, it's like, why, sometimes I feel like I'm also, prone to as well. Like, for example, with doing this channel, I have tried a few times to do videos and show my face on here, but then that's also intimidating to me as well, because it's kind of a line of boundaries for me. That's something I personally am trying to work with, just in my personal life as well. It's just, like, how do I setting a boundary, but yet also building connection? I feel like that's important, especially with online communities, to have a space where people can just, and it is the internet, there's a vast majority of people. You're never gonna have 100% happiness rate with everyone, so that's the thing, and I understand that, but at the same time, it's just my own personal, because I'm a very private person. I feel like that's something I try to challenge myself with this channel, is trying to work on, like, I know it sounds weird, but kind of working on my personality, just because I'm very introverted and reserved, and this channel forces me to talk for longer periods of times. This video isn't that long, but I notice sometimes I try intentionally to make my videos shorter, and just so I can talk less, and that's definitely something I want to work on, just because growing up I was always the quiet loner kid, and then now having to talk, especially about myself or other things, is not, like, I feel like I have nothing to talk about. But I do have stuff to talk about, but then again, a whole thing about me trying to balance what can I share, what can I share, what do I feel comfortable sharing, and stuff like that. That's just another thing I have to work through. Obviously, as the channel grows, I definitely want to, and I just don't really know exactly where I wanted to take it. If you have been following along since because I've been doing this for like 3 years, but I have definitely, it wasn't consistent. I started it 3 years ago, but it wasn't consistent until maybe halfway through last year. I'm not sure exactly the timeline. But yeah, I wasn't, and I still to this day I'm kind of unsure of what I want to do. I feel like obviously as humans we are multifaceted and we have different sides of us. I'm not exactly sure what to do because this is my channel and I can do whatever I want. But at the same time, I'm unsure of, should this be a niche thing? Should I stick to a certain genre, or what would it look like if I were to kind of just touch up on little different things, a whole bunch of things. So that's definitely something I'm working on. Interesting enough, I've chosen for whatever reason, to do a gaming channel. It's kind of funny because growing up, I wasn't that big of a gamer myself. Growing up with my cousins and everything, I was always the one that was left behind in the games and kind of struggling to keep up. So, fun enough, like now it's me playing, and there's no one to share the control with or anything like that. So it just followed me, and it's definitely different. But it kind of makes me wonder if maybe I should just try different video games and styles of games. As much as I would love to try horror, you guys would probably be annoyed watching me. I'm not the best at it, so I don't think it will be enjoyable. But eventually I want to do something. I'm still figuring out what I want to do, but then it goes back to doing stuff for ourselves and, finding out what that looks like for us. So, yeah, I'm definitely working on that. And, yeah. So, let me talk about the build again. I was going to say, also the kitchen. I totally forgot about the kitchen. That's another thing I liked as well. It was very fun to trying to work with. I realized lately I'm noticing that I'm doing a lot of neutral tones with color palettes. One thing I was wanting to do was keeping the exact same. Oh, and also the thing I got was a tool mod again. I forgot how much I like it. Mostly, I enjoy the ability to change the lighting settings. I feel like that's just that was very clever thing to have, especially because it is very helpful to give you the feel of it instead of going back and forth between live and build mode. So it's definitely love that. What is it? Kind of not tactic, that effect. that tool, yeah. And yeah, it's very nice. Also, I was thinking of downloading gallery art that was also base game compatible, but I decided to make it use whatever paintings that were available. But I don't know, I feel like the painting particulars they get very repetitive or just not that interesting, or sometimes, because I know in the Growing Together pack we have the empty picture frames, so I put those around just so you guys do. I've actually never filled out a picture frame, now I'm thinking about it, but it was definitely something to add. And then yeah, like I said, it could be because it's raining where I am, but I very much went with that cozy feel. I know this feels like a nice spot. Again, the living room, I'm looking at it, still my favorite room in this house. Also made sure to leave an empty counter space, because I know obviously that's what you need for cooking. I almost didn't. I was gonna put the spatulas and everything on the other counter, and I almost forgot about that. Luckily, I remembered. I also wondered, I'm looking at it, the space is big enough for an island. Well, maybe not. No, it would be a bit too tight. Yeah, okay, never mind. Maybe not an island. I mean, I could put a table that kind of works like a surface, like a little island in that way. But no, I think I'll leave it as that. I feel like that would make it a little bit tighter. Feel a little bit tighter. So yeah, I'll leave it as is. But yeah, right. I think we're on to the bedrooms. I also did the bathrooms again off screen. I usually tend to do that just because it's very repetitive, honestly. All the bathrooms are exactly the same. The only thing that changed was the towels and carpet I chose. So, very similar. So I didn't bother to show that. But yeah, now we have the bedrooms, like I said. Very simple. Again, with the base game and growing together limitations. But yeah. Alright. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry if I went all over the place. I wasn't really still trying to figure out how to properly word my sentences, but yeah, enjoyed the video tour. Bye.